Okay, so we're going to do a magazine layout. I made a new project here and I'm using, I'm not going to use the US paper. We're going to change the width to 17, the height is 11, and the resolution, you can either do it 150 or 300. I'm going to do it 150. It's going to render a lot faster. My computer's probably not going to crash as easily. Okay, so here we are. We're going to be using a lot of grids and guides to set things up, and then we'll get into more of the blocking, where do you put the text and all that sort of stuff. Oh, okay, so first we're going to go to View, Show, Grid. And then we're going to go to Edit, Preferences, Guides, Grids, and Slices. And we want to show a grid line every 25% or 50%, whatever is going to work. You can have as many subdivisions as you want. I'm going to do 4, but it's not going to matter here. So here we see the middle of the paper. So we're going to do 2 facing pages. So the left side and the right side. And we're going to put a guide right on the middle there. And then we're going to switch over to calculating in inches. Now it's important to note that we're doing 150 pixels per inch. So we have exactly 2,550 pixels across. Now we're going to have to do some math as we go on here to figure out exactly where those guidelines are going to fall. Okay, we'll save that interesting, cool stuff for a little bit later. So we're going to go to Edit, Preferences, Guides, Grids, and Slices, and we're going to change this to inches. We're going to do it every inch, and subdivisions 4. So that means that we have 1/4 inch breaks here. If we zoom in, so each one of these little boxes is a 1/4 inch, and this one is 1 inch. So I'm going to set my margins here to 3/4 of an inch, and 1, 2, 3. There's 3/4 of an inch. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There's 3/4 of an inch. 1, 2, 3. 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch. And there you have it. If I turn off the grid, you have there's our grids. Now we're going to measure across here, so I'm going to go to the eyedropper tool, click and hold, find the ruler tool, and I'm going to measure across right there. This length is 1050. Okay, so that's in pixel terms. So if we go to 1050, we divide it by 150 pixels per inch, we get 7 inches. Okay, now if we divide that in half, we get 3.5 inches. So I'm going to divide it in half to find exactly where I should lay the next center line down, because I'm going to do 2 columns in this this tutorial. I'm going to reset the 0 axis here by clicking in the top left corner here and bringing that down to right here. And I'm going to measure from here exactly 3.5 inches, which ends up being right there. And I'm going to place a guide right there. And if I measure this, now I have 524.5, which, if I get my calculator out, 524.5 divided by 150 is essentially 3.5. Okay, we could do 3.5 times 150, exactly 525. That's right where we're at. Now we want to do a gutter, so we're going to put another guide a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right. So we're going to turn on those grids again. So View, Show, Grid. But the problem is we don't have enough subdivisions to get to that marking accurately. So I'm going to go to Edit Preferences. We're going to go to Guides, Grids, and Slices. We're going to do 8 subdivisions. And now we have enough to do a guideline every 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do 1/4 inch gutters. Because I changed the guides and the preferences, I'm able to just count out one. So I did 8 subdivisions. That means there's twice as many subdivisions. Each subdivision is 1/8 of an inch. So if I go 1/8 of an inch this way and 1/8 of an inch that way, that's a 1/4 inch gutter. Okay. Now that's a bit of a hassle to remember and measure out every time. So here's a trick that I'm going to do. I'm going to make a new layer, Control Shift N on the keyboard, or you can go to Layer, New Layer, okay, Noob. Okay, I'm going to call this Gutter. I'm going to make a gutter that's that size. I'm going to hold Shift and F5, or you can go to Edit and Fill. I'm going to make this 50% gray. Okay. Now the reason I do this is now I can take this gutter and move it wherever I want, because I know this is exactly a 1/4 of an inch, and so I can turn this, flip this, and use this everywhere, line this up, and put my guides around it so I don't have to measure it out every time. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to reset to 0 this thing. I'm going to go to 3.5 right there. And I'm going to take my new gutter. Look at that. Line it up. Boom. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I got a gutter. Okay? So I'm going to keep this around. Now I'm going to start to block out things. And I'm going to turn off the grid because it's kind of in the way here. And you start to see that I have a 2-column structure on the left page and the right page. And let's see, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to put a nice big picture in here. And so I'm going to make a new block. I'm going to make a new layer. Control Shift N, we'll call it pick. And I'm going to just fill it in with a color. So I'm going to go to color. I'll make it green or something. Okay. That's going to be a pick. So every time I have a picture, I'm going to use a green block here. Now I'm going to take my gutter, my handy dandy gutter, Control T, rotate it, and I hold Shift so it goes exactly 90 degrees. And if you go to View and you go to Snap, you want to make sure Snap is on, because then that just snaps right to the edge there. I'm going to bring a guideline there and a guideline there. Okay, and I got a perfect size gutter. So I always want my gutters to be consistent. And by using this block, it's going to snap to the outside edge and provide me with consistent gutters. Alright, so now I'm going to get some text. You can just Google Lorem Ipsum. Okay, it's a graphic designer thing where you can generate text. You're going to have an article. It's about a page long, typed. It's going to be about 6 paragraphs. And all it does is it's supposed to look visually, correct as far as type. It's Latin for there is one who loves pain itself, who seeks after it and wants to have it simply because it is pain, which is ridiculous to me. But it's good for graphic designers when you want to put text in there to see kind of what it's going to look like. So here we go. I'm going to get the text tool here, and I'm going to drag out text boxes, and I'm very cautious about this. I want to make them the right size, so I can do Control T, or I get my text tool, drag out a box, and then Control V to paste that Lorem Ipsum Latin text in there. All right. And there's some left over here, and if I drag this out, it kind of adds more text to it. I'm not so concerned that the text is like all sequential and in there perfectly, so I'm just going to continue copying and pasting that text to fill up the text areas here and just kind of figure out stuff later. But I have my gutter there, and I'm thinking I'll just duplicate this layer to put it in other text areas. So maybe I'll have some text up here, maybe some text there, and maybe some text here. Now this isn't very good designering for me because I'm not balancing my spaces at all. I'm not giving any consideration to all that sort of stuff yet, and I should. But I just wanted to put in some dummy text so you see how the page looks. Now, by contrast, if I did this with just rectangles, it'd give you an okay sense, you know, if you use like a light gray. But it's better, especially for text boxes, to use actual text. It's just going to look more accurate. It's going to give you a better sense of how everything is going to flow together. Okay. So I do want to do some different things with like maybe some pull quotes and some pictures. We got to have 3 pictures in here. And so I'm going to play around with plugging things in. Let's see, you're going to turn on my gutter here and measure so that I have a correct space between my gutter and my text here. I'll just stick that back up there. Okay, I got 2 pictures and a little pull-out area. Not bad. You know, the text kind of flows well, goes up here and comes down here. And this is okay. I'm going to add in some more things like page or folios. Just keep it very simple. Hold Alt, Shift, bring it up so I have page numbers on the outsides. I also need some text at the bottom of the pictures, so Control Shift N, pick info, and I'm going to do something snazerific here, and I'm going to do like kind of something sideways like that, and we'll make it black. Hold Alt, duplicate that, put it on the picture sideways there, because I am cool. Alright, so now I have, in a very general sense, a placement for my pictures. I still need room for one more picture somehow, and placement for like a pull-out quote or some interesting factoid. This maybe could become a picture or something, or like a infographic. And I have my text here. Oh, but hold the presses. I don't have a title. That's a shame. That's not good at all. So I'm going to make one more box. We're going to call it title, and it's going to be red because you read all about it, and after you've done that, you've read it. Alright, no time for jokes, Mr. Granlund. Let's kick this into high gear here. And so now you're starting to see that you can only have so much text before you kind of run out of space, and that's what being a graphic designer is all about, is balancing all the information that you got to have on a page to make it interesting and easy to read, and maintain consistent spaces, like under here under the title. After I get this laid out, now I can go ahead and plug in the things that I need. So the actual pictures, the actual article that I've written, the actual title and folio and everything else, so that, and make sure that all my choices and typeface and lettering match the style sheet that you get in class. Alright, I'll see you next time for plugging in your specific stuff and making it look good.